I am bored of this conversation. Hey man, hey dude, did you see those Dynamite ratings? Yeah, look, I really don't care. Like, it's just a number. I hope all wrestling companies do well, but as long as I enjoy the show, that's as far as it goes. You're not a real fan, you don't understand wrestling, why don't you flub off? It's just a number, man. It's just a number. Let it go. It doesn't matter. Hello, I don't know what that was. My name is Simon WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me as always, and it is Saturday where wrestling just gets thrown into our face like some kind of machine gun, like show. So why don't we take the finger of power, which is this, the fop, give the good bits an up, got it, and the bad bits are down. Right, do not forget that because this week's episode of Rampage was taped directly after Dynamite, it means these fans had not only just seen the Young Bucks win the Tag Team Championships, but they'd seen Christian Cage turn heel. So surely Tony Khan was like, man, we're going to have to send two bigwigs out there. And they did, because it was Jon Moxley versus the inhuman Dante Martin. Chris Jericho and William Regal were also on commentary, and those two are such a joy because they just take such shots at each other. And back in the ring, Jon Moxley was all like, oh yeah, let's do a test of strength. And Dante Martin agreed. And I was like, Dons, I know you're inhuman, but come on. He did somehow stop a hip toss and turn that into a head scissors, which is absolutely ridiculous. And he drop-kicked Jon Moxley to the floor. This is when they started chopping each other. Once again, I was like, Dante, what are you doing? This man will kill you. And surprise, surprise, he almost did. I mean, it really did allow Jon to just destroy him because he murdered him in the turnbuckles. And then he broke his back. And I know you were saying, what do you mean he broke his back? Who is he, Bane? But the move was called the backbreaker. So like you, I was freaking out too. Mox also used a version of the Regal stretch, which is also cool to see. And then he took his knee and he rammed it so viciously into Dante Martin's head. I was like, Moxley has taken this new nickname literally. He doesn't think that Dante Martin is human either, because no man would be able to take that. Martin still hit this Hurricane Rana, which was absolutely glorious, and then he got out of the way of this lariat, and then he was doing this springboard to the outside, and he did this top rope crossbody. I watched it 3 times. I'm not even joking. I rewound it because I was like, how does he get so high and how does he make it look like smooth? And looks like smooth doesn't make any sense, but we were doing everything here because Moxie then tried to choke him out when Dante Martin hit a sliced bread, and Jon even hit a cutter again. And I swear that's the second time he's done it. So now everybody is hitting cutters. Equally, I don't mind because I really like that move. There was a good near fall after a Dante Martin sunset flip, but come on now, that was never going to happen, although as we said on Dynamite Ups and Downs, it should soon. Instead, Moxley grabbed him and absolutely murked the hell out of him. My word, it was aggressive. Before he choked him out, Dante Martin was gone. Jon Moxley wins. Up. And then finally got the follow-up between Keithley and Swerve Strickland after Swerve had screwed over Keith in the Battle Royal. Although actually Swerve made a very good point. He was like, dude, that was like a singles match. If I hadn't thrown you out, you would have thrown me out. So let's still be a tag team. Now, let's not use sight of the goal. It does make a good point because if they hadn't have eliminated each other, that thing would have still been going on now. Just as Keith Lee was about to say something, they got interrupted by Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. So that is 60 interruptions in AEW and 160 in all of professional wrestling. Although Team Taz didn't say much here, they were just like, oh man, you've never beaten us, so why don't you marinate on that? I think was the term. And they just walked off. So it kind of just feel like we may do this match again, and maybe, just maybe, Swerve goes bad guy. But I kind of feel like we should pull the trigger here more. Like, this was a little bit of a tease, but it was over so damn quick. And again, Ricky and Will weren't allowed to say anything. So I do think I have to give it a down just out of disappointment. These 4 absolutely smashed it, and I would just like it featured just a teeny bit more. I was then over the moon because the Acclaimed and the Gun Club were here, and I'm just going to tell you straight, I love them. Max Casper also did his rap and was mentioning NDAs, so that dude knows what's up. And then it got even better because not only were they fighting a couple of animals because it was the bear country, but their opponent was Leon Ruff. And I love Leon Ruff. He's excellent too. This was a terrific time for me. I mean, it didn't go too well for this poor kid because he got absolutely destroyed and Max Caster finished him off with the elbow drop from the top rope. But again, just having all these four together, and Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn, it just works. It just does. I don't know why. And it secretly makes me go, I don't want serious wrestling anymore. Now that's not true. It is true just a little bit. The point is, I'm just giving it an up. What you want as a wrestler is to have that emotional connection with the fans. And I tell you, I am plugged in. It then got even better too because Lexi Nair was interviewing Hook, and she said to him that next week, you are going to be fighting a top prospect from New Japan. Now, Hook didn't say anything. He just stood there with his glorious hair. When Danhausen arrived, and he was all like, yes, we are going to be taking on a top prospect from New Japan. And Hook was like, don't worry about it, I got it. And he walked off. And I stood here all morning going, well, who the hell could that be? Because Hook clearly has to win. And I have absolutely no clue. We then got a really cool match after this because it was Jade Cargill versus Willow Nightingale for the TBS title. I tell you, it's just nice to see wrestlers like Nightingale get their big opportunity because they have been working away for years. And much like she did last time she was on AEW, she took the ball and went, give it to me, I'm going to run with it. I mean, I suppose the only problem is that you never actually thought that Willow was going to win because you wouldn't have Jade Cargill lose from nowhere. Although in the early going, she went for the pounce. Jade was like, no, and she just booted her right in the head to the point Willow Nightingale fell to the outside. But when they were back in, Cargill was in the corner and she got the cannonball. And I tell you, Cargill doesn't take that much offense, so I was like, ooh da lally. There was then some back and forth after this, but we do need to talk about the one move that put it back in Jade's favor, because she booted Willow right in the gut, and then she gave her the pedigree, and I audibly shouted out loud, what? So I've no idea if that's meant to be a wink and a nod to something, and then she hit the Jaded to get the 1, 2, 3 and retain her championship. But honestly, isn't wrestling a crazy thing? She did that one maneuver and it has so many connotations. I went crazy. Kira Hogan jumped in after this because that's always the way when Athena came out and she hit the Eclipse onto Hogan, and then Jade Cargill gave Athena a boot to the face, which is when Chris Statlander was here to clear house and bless Chris Statlander, because on the way down, she slapped Stokely Hathaway right in the back of the head. For some reason, that was just really funny. So we're probably still building to a 6-person tag, but also we do have a couple of TBS championships brewing here. And honestly, I would give that and the first ever Jade Cargill loss to Chris Statlander. I mean, smell it. Breathe it in, you can just feel it in the air. So all of this I thought was very good. Getting it up. We then got a video for everything between Satnam Singh, Samoa Joe, Sonjay Dutt and Jay Lethal. And I do have to say this, I'm a little bit confused about it now. It just feels like we don't have time to get this done on AEW, which makes sense because it's all about the Ring of Honor TV title. But this is why it got weird, because the bad guys were all like, oh, Samoa Joe, you don't even defend your championship. And it's like, no, it's a Ring of Honor belt. You guys don't even have TV. I get they're meant to be assholes, and I do really like this dynamic, but I think this may be a Swerve Strickland Keithley thing. I have invested, but then we only get these little bits and it never really goes anywhere, even though I know when we do find the time, it will be great. So sadly, I do think it needs to be another down. I think it's great that AEW does have a big roster and you don't not hire people. You always want to bring brand new people in. We just need to find a way to balance this all a little better. Excalibur then did his whole, oh my gosh, we got so many matches coming for you on Dynamite Rampage, pay-per-view, Forbidden Door, we got this guy, we got that, we got friends, we got lovers, we got well-wishers, we got pairs, we got Mitchell, we got elephants. And you're like, how does he say it so quickly? This man is some kind of savant. And also, then it was main event time, Darby Allin versus Bobby Fish, the monster from the sea. Oh, this was very, very good. There was a big video before this to let us know how Bobby Fish went from the waters to then be a success on land, and none of that is true, I made it up. And of course, because Darby Allin is involved, this was insane. Because Fish started by working the leg into the traditional wrestling way, but as soon as Allin was able to hit that crazy dive, he did it, and honestly, until the day he retires, I am never going to get used to this because he runs at about 700 miles per hour and he just throws himself like some kind of human projectile. Darby's leg was just flashing red at this point, so of course Bob went after that, but Allin was still able to hit a scorpion death drop, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as well as a code red, when he did the coffin drop to the outside. Because why wouldn't you do it to the outside? Why do the inside on the nice, lovely, bouncy mat? That's not true, that mat hurts like absolute hell. But you know what hurts more like hell? By going to the floor. There was then this crazy spear through the ropes, and I'm supposed nobody died, and Darby got thrown into Simba the Steel steps. When Bobby Fish gave him this German suplex on the apron, Darby Allin bounced. That's right. He hit the hardest part of the ring and he bounced off all crumpled. And I was like, what are we doing? Why won't someone stop this? Fish then scored with an avalanche Falcon Arrow, and I totally thought that was that, but Darby was able to get out of it. But then Bob put in a submission straight away. But this is when Allin used his variation of the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, or the Last Supper cradle, and he got the 1, 2, 3, and I swear, that is the way to do it. This is the most legit pin in all of wrestling. You genuinely watch it and go, oh yeah, no, ain't nobody kicking out of there. Bobby was so upset he'd let all his Fish friends down that he started to beat up Darby Allin. This is when Kyle O'Reilly came out with a chair and he was playing it like a guitar, and that made me laugh. When all of a sudden the lights went out and it was like, please be Satnam Singh. But very sadly it wasn't, and it was just Sting. I am of course kidding. As soon as I saw the icon, I went absolutely crazy because I also love this man. Not only did he whack Kyle O'Reilly right in the balls with a bat, but he took out everybody. This is when Darby Allin Pillmanized Bobby Fish's leg by doing the coffin drop onto the chair. Father and son then ended Rampage standing tall. This was brilliant. This was such a feel-good moment. I love it when shows end this way. Also, that match, as already stated, was really, 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 really good. It is getting it up. Which brought us to the end of Rampage, and I know there's a couple of downs in there, but there's just two specific feuds that we have mentioned that I desperately want to see, I don't know, stretched out for the moment that it's not happening. But look, it was still a really good show. It's still a good time. Let's get it up. Now, please do leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Rampage. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com, where you can read all of the wrestling news, and I mean all of it. Same with social media, same with the videos. I think we all need to go and lay down. My name is Simon for WhatCulture. Thank you for joining me as always. I will see you soon. And go watch SmackDown Ups and Downs. That's live. I tell you, if you need to talk about wrestling, that's probably the show for you.